While you're having to honk and drive around, throw rocks at his building, stuff like that, to get some attention out of him, well, it's clear you're going to need about $1.9 million to get that man's ear.
I wonder who he's representing.
Well, I actually have two things that I'd ask him. Why he didn't have the courage to implement a bill so that we could get campaign finance reform, so that little people like me or you or you or you or you could run for office and get the real people that want to serve our country and want to do good for our country in there, and term limits, because I believe that we have to get rid of the power playing in government. Three terms for House, 2 terms for Senate. Let's get it done.
Thank you, Jim. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, the pro-life issue is going to be a hot-button topic during the campaign against Pomeroy. Do any of you up there have any regrets on your decisions with pro-life? Votes you've made, we maybe take 10 seconds each in any order. Any regrets, or is it pretty clear that whoever we elect from this group is going to have a good, strong pro-life stance?
Yeah, let's start with JD and just kind of work our way down the table. How do you, 15 seconds, give us your pro-life stance.
15 seconds? I'm pro-life.
And I'm pro-life as well, and I think, as I've explained, we talk about votes. 2007 session, we passed a bill that basically said abortion will be legal in North Dakota if Roe versus Wade is ever overturned. And so I guess, not to belabor this, but pro-life as well.
Pro-life.
Yeah.
I believe that life is a gift from God, and I believe that it is protected in the Constitution of the United States as the first right. And we ought to just stand up for it and stop monkeying around with wondering about all these sort of different votes here and there and resolutions. And it's simple. If you're pro-life, you're pro-life.
All right. Next question.
All right, raise your hand if you got a question. Did you get your answer? All right.
We have a question over here.
Okay, I'll head that way. Wave your hand wildly. And
Let's go back to while we're kind of rolling around. Let's go back to the cap and trade issue. I haven't let Kevin talk on that a little bit.
I hardly ever think about it. I believe in climate change. It's called summer, spring, winter, and fall. And I believe that the same God that created the majesty of the Badlands, the splendor of the prairies, the richness of the topsoil, put the minerals underneath it, and he caused the winds to blow. I'm an all-of-the-above solution guy when it comes to America's energy challenges. And I say it's simple to solve America's energy problems. Turn them over to North Dakota. We do it right.
JD, I'm sorry, I didn't let you talk on the cap and trade issue either.
Sure.
You're an oil man. I want to hear about what you got to say.
Yes, sir. I've been in the energy business for 33 years now. Grew up oil field trash. I'm qualified to speak on energy. In the debate, I got to tell you folks real quick, because man, I'm having to talk fast, and that's a little unusual for me. But the debate on energy is getting entirely misplaced. It's not a money issue. It's not a can we do it issue. It's not an environmental issue. It's a national security emergency issue. Now, we only have the capability to produce 35 to 40% of what we consume in gasoline. Now, that's where the debate's at. We produce all of our electricity, so we're not down on that. So don't get confused about that. We're not incapable of doing that. We're able to produce 80% of the natural gas we consume. So we're not far from being independent there. The other 20% we import primarily from Canada. Well, we import actually a lot of hot gas out of Washington, D.C. too. That smells a lot worse than what we're burning at the house. Now, and just to be brief about it, I've got an energy security plan here in the Freedom Agenda. I've drafted the Energy Security Act, and I encourage you to go to the website and take a look at that. The Energy Security Act would have us energy independent within 4 years, and I think it's crucial that we jump on it and get on that right now and get it done. Now, like I said, I've got experience in this, and this is something we can do. This is something we have to do, folks. Our very way of life is threatened right now by our inability to produce 100% of the fuel that we're using on the highway out there.
I think as a legislator, I just have to chime in that cap and trade is probably the most damaging thing that we can have in North Dakota, and anything the federal government can do to keep that away is what we need. So we'll go to this next question here.
We have 9 minutes, so we might want to shorten the answers to half a minute each, so we can get a couple more people in. Please raise your hand if you want to go next here, because we're getting short on time. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Kyle Pollack. I'm a college student here at NDSU. My question is, what is your guys' job outlook going for? For example, in North Dakota, it seems like the job or the unemployment rate is much lower than the rest of the city. Yes. And I see a lot of my friends who are graduating want to rush off to bigger cities. And being from New York, I'm wondering, what are they thinking at this point in time? What is your guys' plan economically to, if you're elected to Congress, to kind of keep it where it's at or increase it?
30 seconds. What's your job creation, JD?
30 seconds. Well, with the Energy Security Act, we create millions and millions and millions of jobs. With the Free Tax Act, Republican mantra is always that if you'll lower the income tax rate, that jobs will go up, the economy will expand. Okay, well, let's just get completely rid of it. How about that? How about we get entirely rid of the Internal Revenue Service? That's one way we can start.
Rick, how do you feel on jobs?
If America were like North Dakota, we'd have 8 million more jobs in this country today. It's pretty simple. Government doesn't create jobs, the private sector creates jobs. We've got to end this uncertainty of government taxation and regulation. We need small business to grow, and to do it we need stability. And so Congress needs to have a stable policy, and we need to let small business, if you get off their back and let them go, they'll create all the jobs we can possibly want in this country.
Dwayne?
Geez, with all four of us saying the same things, we all have to think really hard to come up with answers. But we do have a good job outlook in North Dakota. We have a model plan, and the whole United States should be watching what we do, and it's going to take tax decreases from the government in order to accomplish all these things. But I believe that within the next few years, we will have a good outlook on our job situation.
Kevin, why don't you wrap us up?
I know how to create a regulatory climate that is conducive to profit, and that's what investors need. But I think it goes right back to JD's very first point. And I agree with Sarah Palin, who writes in her book, that energy security, energy independence in the United States of America is the new wealth and job creator. If we would just pass the types of regulations and policies, or rather restrict them, that would be conducive to creating energy independence, it will create the same type of economic boom that technology did in the past decade.